Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where uh, I will be making a little bit of artwork, of course. I mean, what else are you here for? Uh, so for this one, uh, I have, I had a little bit of a idea when I was watching Drawfee. Now, during this episode of Drawfee, which you should definitely watch, they were creating uh, different versions of animals or creatures. I don't remember what it was. But Nathan made a space shark. And that got me thinking about what other animals would be used in space. So here's my idea. Uh, I know I stand here for a bit. Okay, there we go. So I couldn't figure out what place to put said like planet that I wanted the animal to be on. So I had a bit of trouble putting it there. And I wanted it to be like a Saturn-ish planet. It didn't quite turn out Saturn-ish, but that's all good because I still had a lot of fun with it. Here I was debating whether or not I should uh like change up the colors a huge amount, make it a lot easier on myself by like just taking an image, but I said no, I'm not going to take an image. I'm going to create my own planet to make it look a lot nicer. But unfortunately for me, I'm a wee bit colorblind, and a lot of these colors don't look look the exact same to me. So once we got to like this point, I just started using the same colors that I've already been using, and I've just been hoping that they look different. Uh, Now that I'm like looking at it again, I think they look different slightly. But yeah, it was a lot of fun making this. I love uh the creature I chose, and it works perfectly. I wish I was able to make it like a different version of it. I wish I changed the version of it, but instead I went with this one. But yeah, that's alright. Also, I was trying to figure out how to do gradients because I've never done gradients. So I was editing like I was editing the amount that it does, and I was trying to see how it looks. I wasn't too sure of any of it, to be honest. But I think the planet turned out very, very good in the end, and it turned out pretty much how I wanted it to, like a sandish looking planet. But now here comes the dread, because I wanted it to look, the creature to be right up on top of the planet, so I tried to make it right there. Um, and if you look it down at my layers, you can see what it is already. But for those of you who don't know where the layers are, you guys can wait for the reveal. So web feet. Okay, never. I'll just say it. It's a frog, and so the I came up with a cool little like backstory of this, or like a story of how it works. So I said that it jumps from planet to planet eating them. And then uh, I was given a pretty like obvious question of then how are they going to eat the planets if they're on it? And I was like, that's a good idea. So at the end, I make it a really cool thing that'll help the story out, and I'll tell you when we get there. So here you can see me like trying my best to uh, get this frog to work, and I couldn't even figure out how to copy the eye. I was having a lot of problem, and I didn't know what was going on. Turns out I was on the wrong layer, of course. Uh, the frog head, I think, was the biggest problem, because it just doesn't look right unless you have all of the bits. Um, Here I'm trying to figure out if I want to do certain things with it. I'm unsure. I'm like looking up references, trying to figure out which is the best. The body's just like not looking correct for me. I really am attempting to do something with this, and I just don't know what I want with it. I'm like looking up references, and none of them are good enough. I hated them all. So then I'm like, you gotta. It's one of these times I'm like, you gotta trust the process, man. Like here, I think it's here. You gotta trust the process. It's gonna look good if I just keep going. And I'm glad I did, because it definitely looked. Oh, jeez. It definitely looks good. Uh, after I'm done with it. Also, I'm not one of those people who like to go back over my work and straighten out lines. I really don't like to do that, because if I do, I'll mess something up. It won't look nearly as good, and I just have a pet peeve about it. It's just I I never am able to make it look good after I already made it look good. If that makes sense. So I like to do it right away. I don't like to erase my art, if that makes sense. I don't know why there's a long blank here. It's possible that I was going to go get lunch. Oh, geez, I'm tired. Uh, but then I put in like these shapes, and I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect. I can put this on the thing now." My apologies for anything you hear in the background. It's I don't live alone, so sorry for the brightness. Jeez, I just blinded myself. But then I looked back at the artwork that Nathan did. He created, it made it look like not a regular shark. He edited so that it would look spacious. So I wanted to do the same. First thing that popped into my head was a third eye, and you know what? It worked. But it's not all I do, so you'll see. Now you gotta give me a little bit of credit on these colors, because I was doing my best with it. Green is one of the many colorblind colors I have. I was doing my best to try and make it look like some sort of space animal, but I think teeth just did not work well on a frog. Uh, and so was thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I'll just do a tongue, a really, really long tongue. And so I opened up the mouth so that I'm able to do that. Here I'm just fixing all the lines that are here, because if you don't know, if there's some, I like to call it the lazy art, and lazy art is basically when you uh autofill a thing in and you don't go back to fix it. And yeah, oh man, that hurts my eyes, that color. Why would... Oh yeah, I couldn't figure out how to autofill it because it wasn't working. So I just went in and I made that the bright parts. I don't remember what. And then the darkness part, I think that was my one of my shadings. Oh, I see. It's one of these. This part. Okay, so I wanted to use the blend tool a little bit more. And so I like tried to make it to where I used I used it in this, and it just did not turn out well. I don't like how the belly turned out. The shadows what makes it look good, I say. And and I deleted the shadow because I'm like, oh, it's not gonna look right if the sun is shining on from a certain area because yeah. Then I realized I was missing a foot, and I was like, oh, geez. But it does turn out a lot better than I thought it was going to. So that's nice. So here you can see me make the inside of the thing purple, but I do color it in because I know that it's gotta be it's gotta be darker in there. So also I'm not very good at shading, so please cut me some slack there. I did my best with the shading, and I tried to make it look realistic. I took a lot of time on the shading, and I wish I didn't, but I think it turned out good. I don't know. I'm not very good at it, so. Now here I was trying to make it to where you know exactly where the shadow of the where the sun is, so that with the shadows on the planet, I wanted to make some like moons surrounding it, but I just already spent 2 hours on this piece and I was just not feeling it. So here I made like another version of the shadow, and I thought it would look better if I just put it as part of the planet's thing, but I realized how awful it looks, and I kept editing it more and more until I eventually ended with a very different version of it. Because there's a lot of like sharp lines here, as you can see. I was doing my best to make it straight. I think this is what I ended up with, but I ended up changing the opacity. So now I think it looks great. All right, now I was trying to figure out why the background wasn't coming in. And I don't remember what the problem was. Hold on, let me like watch the... I don't remember what the problem was. Oh, that's what it was. One of the things that I had background a background of white in it. Okay, so here's where I actually like started making it like look really cool with a bunch of yellows and reds and whites as stars on the eyes. So it looks really cool and makes it look like it's staring off into the cosmic array. Uh, and yeah, shooting stars are always one of my favorite things to draw because they look just so cool. That's like a comet. Uh, but then this is where I'm like, the canvas is too big. I'm not gonna have I don't have enough time to do things. Also, I I have the brushes thing all the way up, where like the straightening thing all the way up, but I'm a fast I like to draw fast, so I don't know. I apologize if it looks wonky, but I felt like the wonkiness was just fine. I couldn't figure out how to do this tongue bit, but then I just settled with this. And the shadow I wasn't too sure about, being that I know half of it isn't going to be hit by the sun, but it's fine. Alright, don't worry, I do fix this. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have probably kept that shadow across the planet, but oh well. We're getting close to the end here, which is fine, but I do want to say that I have a Patreon now. Sure, I'm not the biggest of creators, but I do have a Patreon if you guys do want to uh, get like commission me something to draw. One of those and okay, so I'm trying to think. I'm not very good at this. So you can sign up. Not that much. It's $5 a month. Not much, and you'll get a lot of different things from this. You'll, but yeah. So I think here is where. No, no, we're not done. Okay. So I also have a Twitter, which I've been posting a lot on. Here I wanted to change what the background looked like because I felt like it was too light blue. And here comes the stars. Half of these stars are gonna get erased. Don't worry, because I went and shrunk the canvas, and I forgot how to do it too. Here we go. And I think that's it. That is the final piece. Let me give you a really good look at it. Here it is. Now, I love how it turned out. Turned out extraordinarily well. There's a lot of things I could have cleaned up a little bit more, but I really didn't want to work on it anymore. As much as I love to draw and color and all that, uh, I really was not feeling it. Uh, but it did turn out exactly how I wanted it to, and that's all I needed. So, again, if you want, you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Shinomation. Uh, or is it Shinomate? Let me make sure. My bad. Patreon.com/Shinomations. I will put it in a link in the description of this video, Another thing you need to check out is my Twitter, at Shinomate. I know that for a fact. Where I do post images of my artwork, and you can also get updates of when I'm streaming. At my Twitch, Shinobi Aaron, uh, Shinobi under dash Aaron. You got to get that correct. I don't know why, but Shinobi Aaron was taken, even though like nobody used to say. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you did, and consider subscribing because it really does help. Thank you and bye-bye. Also, I'm working on a animation that I hope you all will like. Thank you. Bye-bye.